Hey guys, well this is it, last one. Today I'm going to be unboxing this guy, the Zoids Wild Liger. Number one in the line, but not my number one, I can already tell you that. What can I say, I'm not a fan of the Ligers. But yeah, we're going to crack this one out of the box. I'm going to build it and I'm going to review it, and hopefully it'll be fun, and if not fun, then at least a little bit informative. So let's get started. Oh yeah, did you guys want to see the box? It's got this, and it's got the different modes on the back. I think by now we all know what these boxes look like, right? And now I can't remember which side I cut open. Here. Okay, so as usual, we have our tan and brown digital camo insert. We have the back with the instructions. We have the A parts bag with the bone structure. We have the B parts bag with the armor. We have the S parts bag with a bunch of mechanical stuff, the caps, the eyes, the pilot. And I spy something unfamiliar here. Let's see. First off, here's the gearbox, which is the same as in all the other battery-operated Zoids Wild kits, but what's this? If I can get it out without breaking it. Oh, here we go. I see what the problem is. Let me cut this open here. It's got a little extension thing here in the back that, see, this got stuck on the cardboard. So I guess I'm going to have to cut this, preferably without, whoops, cutting into the piece. Okay, let's put this away. Take a look at what we've got here. Yeah, little mechanism that, I mean, if I had to guess, goes on top here and drives the Wild Blast mode gimmick. Okay, so you know how this works. There's always an A bag, a B bag, and an S bag. In this case, of course, the A bag contains more bags and also some gold pieces. I just realized, that's interesting. And the B bag for once actually seems to be more than one as well. So I'm going to get all this stuff out of its individual bags, and then we're going to take a look. Well, and here's what's in the box, or most of what's in the box. I actually couldn't fit everything in the picture, so I still have all the S parts bagged here. So yeah, let's take a look at what we've got here. Of course, you have most of the parts for the bone structure are in the same metallic gunmetal plastic that they're molded in the rest of the kits, except for the Ganon toys, which is more sort of a silvery color. We also have these gold parts that are also in A bags, or, well, it's supposed to be gold. It's really more like a yellowish, almost tan color, and I have to say it's pretty ugly. Not a fan of that. What's also kind of unusual is that this, I think it's listed as A5 in the instructions. For some reason this was in the A bag, and not in one of the separate bags that these were in, but just in the big A bag. So I guess we'll find out what that's all about. Armor, we have white and blue, as you can see. Lots of nice detail, of course. Although I have to say, like, this guy, he really looks out of all of these Zoids Wild models, he probably looks the most like one of the ones from the 90s. Just the sort of the style of the detail here. It really reminds me more of that than it does the other Zoids Wild kits. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, let's clear this out of the way and get building, shall we? All right, here we go, nice and tidy. I hope you guys realize, by the way, if I wasn't filming myself doing this, there's no way I'd go through all the trouble of like sorting the pieces the way I did here. I'd just be spilling everything out of the bag, and yeah. So the first thing that happens is that we put these crank pieces on the motor as usual. I think I mentioned this in my written review of the Ganon toys. I wonder what this is about, the fact that these need to be attached during assembly. And I hope it means there's going to be different variations of this. You know, for different kinds of kits, like maybe the Brachiosaurus will have bigger ones, for example. I'm also still kind of hoping they're going to come out with a different version of this gearbox that has another rotating peg back here, because that way they can actually make Zoids with jointed legs again, which would be nice. Okay, body halves go together like this. As I turn the page in my instructions, now we put this thing from the S bag on the back. I see this locks into like different positions with this here that you probably can't see on camera because it's a little too reflective. We also clip on the tail, which doesn't seem to move at all. It's just posable, but that's not going to move when it walks. And now, this thing. I'll make sure I get this right here. It locks in the back here, and okay. So you click this in place. Yeah, it says to do it in the back first and then in the front. And that's it, it's clamped down. It's actually these two pegs here that serve as spacers to make sure it doesn't go all the way down. Interesting. I also don't think you want to try to pry this back off, so I'm beyond this step. I mean, if you're gonna go back and take it apart and reassemble it like I did as a kid a million times with my 80s Zoids, you're not gonna want to go beyond this step. This goes on the front here and is actually basically the part where I make a fool of myself. No, it goes on like this. And what I was going to say is that it's basically the clip part that holds the body halves together. Now, this goes on one of these ribcage pieces on the side here. This one. You ever notice how I always grab the wrong part first? It's like a law of nature or something. Okay, so this falls down, goes on here, clip, and then this hole, right, threads through here. Same thing on this side. I mean, obviously this is this part that's going to move and drive the movement of the rear legs. But first, we put this on. Oh, this has the lower jaw on it, so I guess that means the mouth is going to open and close. Hopefully. Let me see here. No. It looks like Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Now, see, it attaches to this thing here on the back. So it looks to me like the mouse opening and closing is going to be something to do with Wild Blast mode. All right, anyway, same thing on this side. Like so. Clip this together. And there's the jaw assembly. Okay, now we need one of the gold pieces. This one, which has like some really nasty nut marks on it, by the way. This attaches to the bottom of the jaw. Oh, cool. Apparently it's got some sort of gun inside its mouth. And then we have these two tubes here, which I now have to make sure don't get them mixed up. This one goes on this side. Or does it? No. It never fails. I should have known, you know. When I was sure, I had to know it was the right piece. I'm just plugging it into the wrong holes. That wasn't very kid-friendly. If you got that joke, you're a perv. Okay. Now, here we go. That's pretty cool. Some color separation at least. Okay, now we put this to one side for the moment because up next, apparently, we're putting together the head, which starts by putting in the dentures. Okay. Grandpa found his teeth. Good for him. Okay. Back already. Because this goes here loosely. I wonder if there's going to be something that interacts with this afterwards. Because like on the Ganon toys and on the Gabrigator, actually, you think the head's loose at first, and then turns out it's not. Okay, let's just click together nice and tight. Here's the head. And now the instructions are telling us to make sure, and I'm just going to do this so that you can see. The instructions are telling us to make sure that we match the correct feet up with the legs. So this is A22, and it goes with A23, which is okay, I see. Yeah, this one. Okay, and so this one goes on the other side, and these go together. So what I'm going to do, since the instructions want me to do this anyway, I'm going to put these together, because what happens is you plug them in here, put a rubber cap on them, and you're done. Like so. I'm doing all of this off camera again because I'm an idiot. Like this, you see, it goes in like this, and then you put on the rubber cap. Okay. Now, front leg, the front legs are the ones that have this thing here, because it hooks into the peg at the top here, which is what makes them move. And then we have rubber cap here and here. This one goes on like this. And plugins, just one. Okay. Same thing on the other side. If I can do this without making an ass of myself. Like this. And like so. Okay. There we go. I don't think that's bone mode entirely finished just yet. No, it is. It is. The instructions are now telling me that this is the first time I can turn it on. Which, let's do it. I'm not taking the camera off the lamp, but so here it is. All you can see right now is that it's really slow, I guess. I'm gonna make a proper video, like side to side. I mean, from the side. I'm sorry. It just surprised me because it's the head, the mouth actually opens and closes, and oh, you see this? You see this here? This actually pushes up the jaw. See, and then it opens. Nice. Cool. Cool. Also, I like that it's the top of the head that moves and not the bottom. Okay, anyway, that's bone mode. Let's get this armor on. First, we have this, which goes on the neck, like really tight. Isn't half the fun of watching these videos, watching me struggling to get parts in place? Actually, that seems to be it. It's just really loose. I'm not convinced I did that right, but this is actually the on-off switch. See, I like that. I like that the power switch is masked on almost all of these. Or is it? Oh no, look. Okay. I don't know why I couldn't get that down. I think this plastic is just really soft. You know, when the plastic is soft and you're trying to snap pieces together, and sometimes it's a little hard to tell what's going on. I have a similar problem when I'm putting together like assembled painted kits when I'm doing final assembly, because especially like on Bandai's plastic, the paint can make the plastic go soft. Okay, this goes here, and now I have to actually stop the camera, I just realized, because I was getting close to 15 minutes because I didn't stop it when I finished bone mode. Anyway, next we have this, which is a little hard to get in place. I mean, I could just take the leg off, you know. It's one of those things where it's nice that there's this armor piece that basically goes under the under and behind the limb, but on the other hand, it's difficult to get it in place, and the only reason the assembly works that way is so that you have it put together in bone mode first. Okay, so these flaps here on the side that totally don't look like on the Wild Liger are all the same piece, so you just snap them on like this, and guess what? You see this? It's this big tab peg sticking out here. And this is how they attach. They don't fold out, they don't move, they don't do anything. They're just here. They're just here because someone was looking at pictures of the Wild Liger and decided to make the same thing. Okay. I'm sorry if I'm a little negative about this one, guys. I'm just really... I'll explain later. These go on the legs by means of 2 pegs. And I'm a poet and I'm not aware of it. This is the one for the rear leg. Like this. And like that. Okay. And now, funnily enough, what the instructions are telling me to do next is put together the head armor. Which actually consists of 3 pieces. I mean 6, 3 on each side. You put this on, clicks into this so that it can move. And the instructions don't actually tell you to... That's weird. Yeah, this step isn't explained too well, honestly. Like, most of the time... This is supposed to go on the bottom here. You know, most of the time there's a picture of, like, what it's supposed to look like afterwards. Okay, here we go. So it goes together like this. There's usually a picture of what it's supposed to look like afterwards in the instructions, and now for this step, it's really kind of not clear how this goes together because it's not clear what it's supposed to do. And there is no after picture. Okay, anyway. Next we put on these bunny ears. Which are completely loose. And I think this time it is intentional, but if that's the case, I'm gonna put the eyes in first, so I don't have to deal with that thing flopping around while I'm attaching the eyes. Here we go. Oh, cool. These are I mean, they look like Zoids Wild eyes, you know, but they're a pretty different mold actually from the others. Less symmetrical, easier to tell apart. Can you see this here? It's pretty cool. Of course, in a weird moment of anatomical correctness, they made sure that the eyes on this guy would actually point forward. Because that's what they do on a cat. Okay, now I'm gonna get the bunny ears on top, and then hopefully I'm just wondering if I forgot something. Hopefully this will hold this piece in place, sort of. Yeah, it's going to stop it from falling off, but I think this all just needs to be a little loose for the movement because I'm getting the impression that this is going to, these things on the side here are gonna, oh yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, I see. These are somehow supposed to move. Okay, and that's the head. Okay, I gotta be honest, looks better than I expected it to. It's got this really sort of sleek, pointy shape where like all the lines here seem to sort of point towards the nose. That's pretty cool. Yeah, okay, fine. There is something I like about this kit. um, Now the blades. Gold parts go on top of the blue parts. Here and here and here. And we attach them. Right, yeah, that's the big one. So these go, they're supposed to attach to these things here, like that. Okay. And this one goes here. And this one I'm trying to do this on camera for once, and I can't see what I'm supposed to be doing. Ah, like that. Okay. And now, what I'm supposed to do is, okay, put the head up. Put. Well, it's telling me to put the big one first and then the small ones, but they're all moving at the same time, so. Oh, okay, I see. These tabs are supposed to be under it. Now this will click in place, and I can move these two back. Ah, okay. You see this here? These tabs here. Yeah, they're gonna make it snap forward when I turn it on. Okay, so that's it. We're done. Pilot goes on the neck still. Right here, like a jockey, and that's it. That's the Wild Liger. And yeah, let's get this turned on and see what it looks like in motion. So the walking movement, as you can see, is kind of crappy because the legs aren't jointed, so it just tracks its feet. But, yep, there you go. Wild Blast mode actually turns on automatically. And there's something else I got to show you about this, which is why I'm going to play this twice. Watch what's going on at the top. You see how it's clicking forward as the head's moving down? Yep, and when it reaches its third position is when it actually moves forward. I mean, when the blades move forward and then the mouth starts to open and close. Pretty damn cool. So if you were wondering about my negativity earlier, it's really down to two things. Number one is that I was just, even back in the days of the Genesis line and maybe even before that, I was just one of the people who were sick of Liger Zoids. I always liked dinosaur and insectoids better than mammals, with a few exceptions, and then at some point they just wouldn't stop making Ligers and they just kept looking more and more ridiculous. And so, they announce a new Zoids line, and what's the first thing they show? Yay, another Liger. And then the other thing is, I mean, look at this thing, it's just so clearly a derivative of the blade Liger with these blade things on the side of the legs that don't even fold out, and just the blades are on the back this time instead of on the side, and that's about it. So that was sort of my initial reaction. Now, having built it now, I have to say there are still things about the design I'm not crazy about. I think the upper leg armor needed to be less bulky, and instead there needed to be a bit more going on with the bottom part of the legs. I think it looks really top heavy now, which is kind of a shame because it doesn't need to, because the gearbox is so small. Of course, the movement with the unjointed legs. I mean, the one thing that the Liger Zoids and the old lines had going for them is that they probably had the best leg engineering of all Zoids ever. And this one is just another Liger, and it doesn't even have that. On the plus side, though, I really, really like the head, like I said earlier. I like the way the pilot tucks into the mane. The part that I was talking about looking like bunny ears actually doesn't look like bunny ears at all. It's just it blends in with the rest of the mane and actually is a nice added detail. And of course, the way that the Wild Blast mode turns on automatically and how it makes the head move down and the mouth starts to open and close and all that, that's really, really cool, even if you don't really get to assemble it yourself. So I guess the verdict is no, it's not my favorite, but it's much better than I expected it to be, and yeah, I'm fine with it. So that's it for this one, guys. I had fun making it. I hope you had fun watching. I don't know what I'm going to do next. Actually, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to finally get my perfect grade Ailstrike assembled, and I'll do a video about that. But with Zoids Wild, I kind of want to do a final review of the entire line, but I don't know yet if I'm going to do that here on YouTube as a video or if I'm just going to write it up. We'll see. I'm already excited for the next batch because the short version is Zoids Wild is awesome and I'm glad it exists.